So if we get 3 or 4 today, I'll be really happy. If we get to 100, I'll be really happy.
On the first Stingray Sandbar census of 2017, artist and conservationist Dr. Guy Harvey found 99 reasons to smile.
Ready?
Make that an even 100.
Alrighty, 100.
A far cry from the census's low point back in 2012 when the population plummeted to just 57 stingrays.
Our count was at the lowest it ever was, and since then it's come back, but it's come back to around 90 to 100 animals on any given day here. And I like to bring them tuna. This is skipjack tuna.
Attracting the rays is easy with the right bait, but catching them and getting them on board is a little trickier.
This is stingray number 94.
Once safely on deck in a kiddie pool, the rays are measured and scanned for a unique ID tag. Then a small sample is collected and the stingray goes back in the water.
This animal, in its lifetime, will generate $10 million to the economy of the Cayman Islands.
Dr. Harvey says the work is as important today as it was back when the census began in 2002.
You've got a wonderful baseline of data. You've got history on individual animals going back 15 years. There's no other study like this.
He says today's numbers give him confidence that the system's in equilibrium. Joe Avary, Cayman 27. Much like our own island paradise, Jamaica is a major draw for tourists looking to frolic in the Caribbean sun and sea. But unlike Cayman, it has little trouble filling tourism positions with locals.
Perhaps earlier in the industry and earlier in Jamaica's tourism industry, that may have been an issue, dealing with the perception of service and not servitude. And one of the ways that we work on that is to really start early.
Jamaica Tourism Board Deputy Director Marcia McLaughlin says its tourism awareness unit starts as early as primary school, showcasing the variety of opportunities that exist within Jamaica's tourism sector.
You have careers in marketing, careers in engineering, and even now with technology and how technology is being integrated into the tourism product. I think that's very exciting opportunities that Caymanians and others should be looking at and taking advantage of.
A lot of people take it for granted. You know, we're really lucky that we have all Jamaican staff and that they're actually all from Treasure Beach.
Jason Hensel of Jake's Treasure Beach Resort says his all-Jamaican workforce numbers 115 strong. Schooled in Cayman, Mr. Hensel encourages more Caymanians to get involved in hospitality.
If your tourism is growing faster than your locals want to get involved in it, then you're going to have to hire overseas employees, which is a shame, because if you go to that country, you want to talk to your natives of that place and learn about it with their pride and hear their stories.
Evelyn Smith of Tensing Pen in Negril says it takes time to learn the distinction between service and servitude.
For us in Jamaica, and especially where you are now in an area that has been strongly focused on tourism for years, decades at this point in time, persons understand that difference.
But Ms. Smith cautions against complacency. She credits the Jamaican government for not letting up in raising awareness of both the tourism sector proper and its ripple effects, especially in the secondary schools.
You may not necessarily be right working in a hotel, but working in a restaurant, providing goods and services for the sector, providing maintenance services, those are all of the ripple effects or the linkages of tourism.
And some 250 miles from our shores, the challenges Jamaica faces, while unique to Jamaica, remain relevant to our own. On assignment in Montego Bay, St. James, Jamaica, Joe Avary, Cayman 27.
I cannot read music, but I tell you what, I can find just whatever chord I'm looking for.
80-year-old Hinton Connolly doesn't need to read music, he feels it in his bones. His father brought a guitar home from sea back in the late 1940s, and he's been plucking and strumming ever since.
And one hit trips home, he bought him a smaller guitar, not big as this one. And that's where I learned myself,
At 17, he went to sea with national bulk carriers, honing his chops on 23-day tanker runs from California to Japan.
All get together some nights and get off watch and play the guitars. And them days I couldn't play as good as I play now, but I'm still not a good player, because you can't learn too much.
After his time at sea, he started a family and worked in telecommunications, but he lived to entertain.
At that time, we had a hotel in the back called the Buccaneers Inn. And they had a hotel there on the beach. They had a bar with a thatch-looking bar, pretty bar they were called the Pool Bar.
That thatch roof bar became the inspiration to the title track of his first and only LP, recorded in 1977.
For a quick drink at the Pool Bar.
The octogenarian says his creative juices are still flowing. His latest songs are more like poetry.
Gentle northeast trade wind blowing, and the birds are always chirping. On the Isle of Cayman is the story of what I'm singing.
And through the years, his love for music has never waned, but he always returns to country music's golden age.
Mole Haggard, George Jones, Bill Nelson, they were the hardcore guys, man. Really. But now the country today is not like, I don't like it. I don't like it, not today.
Like himself, his songs have stood the test of time, and at 80 years old, Big H, as he's called, still waits for his big break.
I deserve the chance for the world to listen to what I have to sing.
Joe Avary,
To ease my mixed-up mind.
Cayman 27.
Today.
Mango season means organized chaos at Willie and Zelma Lee's place in North Side, as boxes and boxes of sweet, juicy mangoes are loaded up and shipped off to market.
That's the first delivery for the day.
Ms. Zelma Lee says mango season is in full swing, and it's all hands on deck at the family business.
We've gone 3,000 pounds for the day and haven't finished picking. We have 4 people in the field picking. That's my grandson. He helps out with the picking, the loading, the whatever.
A former educator with more than 30 years of experience, Ms. Zelma Lee admits retirement isn't always what it's cracked up to be, especially in the height of mango season.
I have retired. You know, I get tired and tired and tired, so I retire.
With more than 200 trees on the farm and 62 distinct varieties, Ms. Zelma Lee says there's a mango out there for everyone.
That's a Valkyrie. This one is Madame Blanc. She is blank. Some people say Springfield, but it is actually Springfell with a T. None like him in the world. There's only one Willie for me, and this is it.
And sometimes it takes skill to tell them all apart.
This is a Southern Blush here with a rounded bottom. This one has a little peak.
But just a taste of her favorite, the Bombay, brings back sweet memories.
And it just brings back college days memories for me, so I guess that's why I like it.
And while each individual mango has its own aroma and flavor characteristics, Ms. Zelma Lee says all mangoes share one common bond.
Every mango has a little bump. It might have it down here, it might have it over here, but usually it has it up by the stem.
As day turns tonight along the Queens Highway, University of Central Oklahoma grad student and DOE intern Kinsey Tedford is counting crabs. In this case, what's left of them. Once the roadkill numbers have been tallied,
they're hiding.
Ms. Tedford combs through the bush in search of other specimens. Some, like this one, are more than just a little camera shy.
This is a black land crab. This is a female. If you can see the bottom of her abdomen, just very round and broad, oval shaped. Sexual maturity is measured by its carapace width as well. So this one's definitely mature.
Ms. Tedford says the ecological role of the land crab is often overlooked.
You have the crabs that are feeding on leaf litter, carrion, fruit, and they're bringing these food items into deeper layers of the soil, and that helps in nutrient recycling. And so in return, dispersing those seeds makes plants grow, and those protect our shores.
The females must return to the sea to lay their eggs. Ms. Tedford shows us the black, spongy, massive eggs on this female's underside.
Those little triangular feather-like things, those are the gills.
It's not glamorous, but Ms. Tedford says she enjoys her work. She hopes through her research we can glean a better understanding of these animals.
We really don't know. There's different environmental factors like temperature, humidity, rainfall, lunar phase patterns that can all trigger when these crabs are moving.
Joe Avary, Cayman 27.
Should I stay or should I go?
It's a question many expats are asking themselves as the clock runs out on the old pensions law. Starting January 1st, 2018, those who leave island will no longer be eligible for a pension refund.
They will have access by the end of the year, if they make the decision to leave, to get a refund 2 years after they've left.
Chamber Pensions Plan Director of Operations Randall Fisher says the pension plans themselves are unlikely to see signs of any mass exodus of foreign workers, at least not yet.
The question of whether it will trigger a mass exodus or not is debatable. We won't know as a pension plan provider until 2 years down the road.
Mr. Fisher says certain demographics based on age have some other options to access their pension savings.
For example, you're 50 years old and you are thinking of leaving simply for the purpose of getting a refund. You don't really have to, because you have the option of a retirement savings arrangement.
He says those individuals could keep working and apply for retirement savings arrangement that would allow them to withdraw up to $12,480 a year.
If you had $25,000 in there, you'd probably get your money out within 15 months of leaving the islands.
He says the resources exist for those expats who are still on the fence.
Any member can contact their pension plan provider and ask the questions.
Should I stay or should I go now?
A tough question on the minds of many foreign workers. Joe Avary, Cayman 27.
If I go, there will be trouble.
You can see the swelling here, a little bit in the rear.
Pedro St. James tour guide Stacy Hurlston says Jack the donkey isn't immune to the aging process.
He's 37, he's getting there, getting old. But he's very active still.
The purple patches show where growths on his face and body are receiving treatment. Mr. Hurlston says Jack is on medication for arthritis as well.
He has some arthritis in his hocks. I have special liniment that I rub him down with. I have special tablets for the arthritis.
Jack's also on medication to keep his red blood count up. Mr. Hurlston says the iron in the medicine causes Jack's hooves to grow faster than normal.
He can't take so much of it off. It's too painful for him to do at one time. He has to do it, especially with his arthritis.
Jack's pain is apparent with every step. Colorado-based Long Hope's Donkey Shelter says a donkey standing with its head down is an indication of an animal experiencing significant discomfort. Mr. Hurlston says Jack still loves his interactions with the public.
He loves people, and a lot of people will come around and play with him and rub him down and take pictures of him.
Though he tries to spend as much time with Jack as possible, Mr. Hurlston thinks he'd be better off with an animal companion.
He could do with a friend, but that's a long story. I don't really want to go into that. My personal opinion was to try and get him a little friend, but it's difficult to work it out. I have a lot doing here.
Joe Avary, Cayman 27.